when we get back to the subject that played the independents, which, and as I said, Strangers with Guns, I love having them on the show. And finally, some fucking festival acknowledged one or two bands.
I feel they get Picnic. I feel like they're not far off getting Picnic.
Yeah, but I mean, so this is the whole point of tonight's discussion, is that there's a few festivals in Ireland, we all know them, but there's absolutely zero presence of metal bands on them.
It's a matter of time, man.
Is this a situation going forward that needs to be changed? We all agree that it does.
100% it does.
We have the quality, we have absolutely the best of the best, but why are festivals ignoring heavy metal bands?
I'll tell you exactly why. Because you're getting, we'll say, like your Hot Press and like Golden Plaque and blah blah blah. Like, we're aware that we are segregated. We are.
It's
like,
an underground scene.
It's an underground scene, but you're getting guys like Nilo, who was in Frustration, like true. Nelly.
Good example.
You know, like he came from, you know, like fucking Frustration are amazing.
You only have to look at the scratch. For fuck's
but
sake.
the scratch, that's what I'm saying. It's like well, you have this thing. It's like, could it be played on a radio? It's like,
of course,
doesn't matter.
But that's the thing. Is like you can play anything on a radio.
Exactly.
It's like if people like it or not, it's a totally different thing. But I feel like bigger festivals, if they bring heavier bands in, like Knockin' Stockin', right? I would make this entire fucking podcast about Knockin' Stockin'. That thing,
but it's gone.
It's gone. But Knockin' Stockin' encompassed the Irish scene, and it wasn't.
It
wasn't about style. It was about who is working their ass off, and that's what it was. And that was fucking simple as shit. And I feel like I know Picnic and like this is what happens. We've all together now, right? So years ago we had Oxygen was the big bitch, and then Electric Picnic was started as the kind of alternative to that, so people gravitate towards that, and that grows and that grows. And then we had Electric Picnic, and we had Body and Soul that then decided to be like the alternative for that, and things grow and grow and grow. So it's like you're getting to a level now that like Picnic is
what access do fucking metal bands,
but this is
what friends do they have,
but this is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter how many friends you have. You can get fucking press passes, you can get whatever the fuck you want. It's about trying to make these festivals see that if they want to expand, because that's what they're always going to do, like that is literally what they are always going to do, is expand. And it makes sense. Why would a festival not expand? It's like sick.
They're expanding in the wrong direction.
No.
At the moment, they are in relation.
No.
to heavy metal. They are.
No. But Richie, it's shit for us. But like they're selling them out. So like on a business point of view, you can't be like, oh, they're fucking up.
I think there's definitely a click going on there, and has been for a while. But as Evan said, if it's making money, they don't care. But the heavy metal scene is completely being ignored.
It is
in festivals.
Can I just just be like the devil's advocate here and just
Absolutely
say like,
not.
Okay. Hate
the devil here.
Like we have our own festivals. We've got the Siege. We've got Clang coming up, and we don't allow any other bands into that aren't really heavy metal.
Yep.
So we have our own. Like we've made our own segment. Is that kind of the argument there, that like
not really?
There was no, but like at Independence when we were there now, there was no one clearly interested in heavy metal, had no draw for it at all,
or of age.
Probably not. I think I brought up the average age by about at least 6 years.
1 year.
Yeah.
So you're kind of wondering, like, do we just stick to our own?
No. It's this thing where I would argue that because as metalheads, like every single festival I've been to, like the big ones that aren't the Siege, like the ones you camp at and everything, have been abroad. Have been Hellfest, Bloodstock, Copenhagen, you know, all these festivals on the mainland or in the UK, because I'm not catered to here outside of the Siege and like Urban Assault in the past and other small day festivals, which are all great, but like the big ones, we'll say, just not catered to. Like, most metalheads have travelled abroad for.
You'd imagine though, like like things like all the festivals we're talking about in Europe and stuff. They have a catchment area, each of them, of hundreds of thousands of metalheads. So all they need is like a tiny percentage of all the metalheads in that area to decide to go to the festival, and you're onto a winner. Anything that's ever happened in Ireland is requiring everybody who loves them on them off to go to the gig, or it's not going to work.
You literally have to get them all.
Yeah, and you can't you can't do that,
But like, I suppose
you're
like
losing the point here. We're on about Irish festivals. And
So I'd argue like a lot of Irish festivals are very broad. In fairness, they are like
they
music
are broad to a certain
extent. So what's stopping? As independents put in Stranger with Guns, like that's great. Like, what's stopping independents from doing, Electric Picnic from doing that?
But
nothing really. In fairness, like
this is the thing. As in, like, I feel like as a metal community, we're looking for something that's very ours. We want something that's ours. That we want to build something, and like this thing about like it's almost that thing with like people that listen to metal. It's like, if you say what's your favorite type of music, I would say, I love everything. As in, I was into Hiatus Coyote. Like, when you collected me, I had my headphones on. I was like, I feel like sometimes people will think that it's one or nothing, and I feel like 100%. A lot of like people that, well, look, I can only talk about myself, but a lot of people that I know will be into. Like, Joe, you are so good to talk about music, because you will talk about so many different styles, and you get it that it's not like metal. It's literally every single thing that ever has to happen at all times. But people that go to, like, we'll say Electric Picnic, or like even like fucking, we had Rage Against the Machine at Oxygen, like, do you know what I mean?
I would say this about the whole thing, is that the reason why bands like in the past, like Ham Sandwich or the Coronas and stuff, were playing those kind of Irish festivals and propelled into doing bigger things and stuff like that, is that there's like an assumption that they're like, oh, if this band can fill Whelan's, then
they can fill
then they're destined for greater things. And it's never happened for any band at all. Like, even bands that, like, if you read the Irish fucking Times or whatever, you'd think that the Coronas were some sort of fucking massive band or whatever, and nobody outside of the Republic of Ireland gives a fuck about them.
Even their UK tours were like,
they'd be like our UK tours.
I was genuinely going to say they're like at the level of
but
yours.
There's a whole bunch of that, basically, with the Irish media are totally happy to promote Irish bands that are going to just appeal to a hot press.
But there's the circular level.
Like, if you had to imagine, how many copies of hot press do you think they sell a month? Like,
RT2FM are like the biggest culprits of this. They'll just keep promoting the same like 5 like big Irish bands. They're giving away tickets to.
But if you're waiting for like bands, like, how come someone who like Primordial, who've made loads of albums, have never been like even up for a Meteor Award, and like 100%. All this sort of stuff doesn't matter to Irish media. Like, the rock scene will just go on.
It's EPK totally shit. Without it. It's pure EPK shit. That's all it is. So, like, throwing.
But like, and I would love to see like festivals in Ireland having more metal bands and stuff playing at them, because people would like it. That's the thing that.
Well, like,
if you had a Garth Brooks impersonator, people would go and see it, right? You know.
But this is the thing, as in, like, we'll say for like the biggest one at the minute now we have is Picnic, and then we have like All Together now. Which, as I was saying earlier, is like you have this dichotomy of one thing gets too big, people don't like it. Then they want to be alternative. Everyone wants to be alternative in the sense of going to something that it's like they can still book the same bands. Now,
but it's not the same bands, man. Like 10 years ago, Picnic were booking bands I don't know.
But
like
I mean by the same bands, I mean the same bands that they want to book. I don't mean like the same bands every year.
No, but what I mean by that is that, like, they were so into having retro bands that they were relying on people like me and Richie's age going to it. Whereas now, all the young people who are going to that, the music is tailored to them. And like that's why what you're doing with
Electric Picnic is so was important. Aimed at an older audience when it was compared to Oxygen
originally,
back in the day.
That's like Witness was originally supposed to be a rock festival, and then whenever it became like Oxygen, or was it the other way around? I can't remember. But anyway, like, it became a dance thing. But that's just money talking. Like, I think that if there were rock bands in Ireland or metal bands in Ireland who were able to fill like the Olympia and stuff, and people saw that there were But then, sure, Primordial are doing that, you know.
Yeah. But this thing,
There's
it's like having, in some way, if one of the festivals,
Like
it doesn't even need to be a full stage.
We
man.
all
It's just,
could name a band right here and right now that could comfortably fit on Electric Picnic. Start with you. Name band for a metal band.
I Baylor straight away.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
10 Ton Slug.
Tendons look, yeah.
They are a great festival band.
Fuck yeah,
There you
they
go.
actually are.
Like,
And yeah,
Appenum.
Appen. Absolutely. Of course, Joe.
I honestly don't know.
Gamma Bomb.
Gamma Bomb.
Yeah, oh, they're good.
Yeah.
Well, worn out,
Truth, though.
you know. Like
Thank
the thing is, like if
100%.
anyone who likes
you,
the
Joe.
Prodigy would
one
love their
mention
gig,
of-
wouldn't
There
they?
you go. I mean, that was
And
the
et cetera,
obvious
et
one,
cetera.
but like, it took George to say it.
Yeah.
So I was
Well,
gonna
you could,
say-
yeah.
I was
I
gonna
just
say
thought it was
worn out,
assumed.
but now I'm
No.
going to say God alone.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
fuck it,
oh
yeah.
shit.
But that's
I
what.
mean, it's
Actually, I don't mind you not mentioning
Zora.
God alone.
Magnapina.
Yeah.
Zora.
No, wait,
Zora.
look. Hang
Yeah,
on a
but see,
second.
I think
Hang on.
you're right. As in, if you expose
God
people to
alone
more
over everyone.
extreme music like 10 Ton Slug, it'll get more normalized. It's the same as having insane jungle
They
music
send it
on.
out
Like,
there.
Yeah,
there's no
because like
difference,
if someone
you know?
sees on Electric Picnic, for example, if they saw a band called 10 Ton Slug and they're like, "What the hell is that? I've never heard of." Let's go see. Let's go see what the hell that is.
Let's
and
be
then-
honest though,
and they'd
if
see
any
him.
band was going to bridge the gap, it's God alone.
It is God alone.
Like,
It
I'm
is God
actually
alone,
so surprised.
100%.
And
God
one thing I
alone
wanted to
sound-
say was with the new single that came out.
Oh, what a great
Fucking
name.
incredible.
Fuck,
But I've seen some
loads.
people, and like, look, fucking, everyone has their own opinion, but
They're wrong.
no, it's not. Look, no one's wrong about the opinion.
Our
It's
sign of
it's
the host from remembering shit
no.
earlier.
It's like it's not about who's right or wrong. It's how fucking stringent you are about being right. No, it's like I know I've seen a lot of people like on Irish metal. A lot of people, it's 3 or 4, like on a fucking thing that Adrian Williams, who's fantastic for really keeping that page alive.
What a man.
Yeah,
Shout out
fair.
to Adrian.
No, shout out to Adrian. Fair play
Great
to you.
technology on the show.
Yeah, fair play to him. But like people being like, as if there's this like weird thing that's being spun by they got signed to prosthetic and changed like that.
No.
The only way I can
No.
describe this,
No,
it's
yeah.
like it's a lack of knowledge of that band. As in,
100%.
few things I have to say like that. Do you fucking think for a second they signed to prosthetic and then recorded the album?
Yeah.
That album,
Yeah, but like,
that
why,
album
why
was
would
recorded.
Prosthetics sign them in the first place if they were like
Change your
They
sound.
have-
change everything about the
Yeah.
way they
This is
sound?
it.
Like,
They
you
have
know?
2 songs on the album that are of
You've heard the
radio
album.
length. They have 2 songs that are on it. They said it. They said it to you, Richie.
Yeah.
They said it in this bloody room. But the thing that people are like, oh, they signed to prosthetic and they just changed your sound. It's like, number one, you obviously didn't watch the Monolith thing where they were like the fucking.
Yeah.
It's like, do you not think any of that sounded like Foles? Like you fucking serious? There's like,
Oh,
and also
100%.
the other thing I want to talk about
Cheers,
is
wake
like
up.
when like the stuff that like if you like time capsule a band by year, you're talking the last like actual release they did was I think it was 2018 or 19. They were like what 5. No, they weren't that like I think they
2019, yeah.
2019. They were very, very young. A band will naturally grow. Like I've had them
People
play
evolve.
for Dead Cult gigs. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've gone and seen them play it a million times.
But the thing is, right?
They change all the time, and they've
As-
4
as
other
you
albums
said-
written. Like
As you said, they're growing.
they're so
100%.
growing that it's like, oh,
In
they're
height.
not originally
Chart.
black metal
You
or
can actually chart the progress they're making.
Oh,
Exactly,
100%,
and you'd be
yeah.
annoyed if they just sounded the same for the
Yeah,
last
you
however
would, but
many
it's-
years.
this is it.
But they're learning as they go
have
through.
to
Like they're all
evolve.
in
Anyway, so
music
this,
school.
God,
Like.
well done. They should be on one of the fucking independent
That's
festivals.
100%.
Yeah.
They
You know,
should be
that
on
they're,
picnic.
you
Like.
know, picnic, whatever.
Picnic would be
but
fucking
but
lucky
how
to
do
have 'em.
fucking people find God alone?
Ah, just need the internet. But
That's what I'm going like.
Is there anybody right
Out-
in these selective fucking festivals? I'd love to know who's the talent.
I
that
feel
is-
like
is
God
trying
alone would
to-
be the one. No,
trying to
there's
fucking scout these
Listen,
bands,
New
right? And I
Blood
think
stage.
it's
Electric
very much,
Picnic.
it's very much independent biased at the
No,
moment,
no.
and always
Li-
has been.
listen,
right?
listen.
It has been, right?
No,
So
listen.
there's that and
To get
that.
onto Electric Picnic, it's like who you know, depending like different people.
Whatever it does, I'm trying,
No,
trying
it's
to make
who-
the point is that how can they fucking spot someone like God alone if they're so focused on indie and dance?
They are and they're not. I feel like As in, like, what I'm saying, I'm not at all, Richie, diminishing your view on that. I'm saying it's literally a matter of time. As in, I can imagine next year it would be very viable and very... It could be a smart route. Man, they're like fucking...
It's something you'd have to ease in my opinion.
Not you, like, not God alone. I feel like you could put them in out. You could put them in out.
They're the perfect gap.
You got Gilliband. You got Gilliband. Yeah, they're right there.
And God alone. Two different spheres.
But the fact that like people like prosthetic or signing bands like that, like, but they're signing bands like that saying, right, okay, you have to now leave Ireland and go and try and find an audience in the world, like, you know, like. But I think it's fucking fantastic that there are a lot of young people who are like following bands like that and into new Irish metal bands. It's class, but I don't think that like people are signing those bands being like, here, there's a great scene in Ireland. It just happens that there's great new bands coming out of here. You know,
this is the thing. We live here. We produce bands and we export them.
Yeah,
and that's.
But everyone from Thin Lizzy and onwards got the Holyhead Ferry to go and do gigs, as you know.
You can go, like, the biggest thing you're going to get is...
in relation to festivals and how Irish metal can get into these festivals.
It just needs... Like, I really, really do think it's a matter of time before... Like, not to fucking blow smoke up your hole, but... Shit like this, there's so many people that I've met, even from home, being like, oh, I wasn't... Like, when I go back to Kilkenny, people are like, I actually really love the podcast, like the Metal Cell, and they're talking about you specifically, and they're talking about like how, like, there's not to bring up fucking COVID again, but like there's pros and cons to people. That there was 2 years of people having fucking nothing to do, man, and they really expanded their horizons on what music is or what they're like.
It is.
But like even who they are as people, like there's people coming to gigs now that are like now trans, being able to like fucking properly be themselves, and there's so many different ways that people are now, like, the age of the internet can be the best and worst thing ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can have so many different things that will start coming out, but it's like all of that it's a gradual thing now, where it's all you need is one person. It's like it's literally how the virus spread. That's how the virus spread. It's like people talking, oh, did you hear this? Did you hear this? Did you hear this? I really, really genuinely do think that, I think if we have the goal of getting our bands on things like Picnic or All Together now, then we're not looking at like ourselves and what the scene can do. Well, if we literally focus on just being the fucking best supportive scene, unless you're fucking a dickhead, but really just pushing each other and be like, what, Richie, like, again, I can't blow smoke.
What you were saying, man, is that like
what you are doing, literally what you are doing, sooner or later, if anyone's going to start coming up to curate a stage on a festival,
they might stumble across the podcast.
Fuck stumbling. Send an email. Yeah. That's this is a message to any bands that are like, oh, how do I get this? It's like, did you ask? Did you say anything? Did you mention it? Did you? Even someone that went to the festival was like, what did the guy with the security guy? What did he look like? It's like, if you're not asking questions, don't expect everything to come to you and be like, oh, fucking nothing's happening for us. Fuck off. There's a million other bands. There's actually so many other bands that we've never heard of. In a tiny island that has what, 5 million? 5 million? Yeah. Is it like, I always say it's a standard 5 million, like 6. It's probably Joe, it's 6.5 now. Like,
I can't remember.
But like, my whole thing is, I don't think they could just do it. I don't think, like, let's just take Electric Picnic for example. What I'm
saying is right though.
What to say, like, let's say next year they put on this whole metal stage. And
well, they won't go that extreme.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying. If they did do that, and no one went to it because it's like they didn't expect it, then they'd be like, oh, what's the fucking point in doing that next year? They just ease into it. But I haven't a clue, but they just have to ease into it.
Would metalers then pay? See, this
yeah, they would. I really feel they would.
Can I just say one thing though? But look, no, but Electric Picnic sells out no matter what.
Yeah,
it
that's
sells
what
out
I'm
every
saying.
year, no matter what.
Listen to my question.
Will the metalheads pay? Will the metalheads
think about what they're paying for?
No, but the metalheads.
Yeah, but they
won't-
usually have
but
to
they
go
sell it
abroad.
anyway.
No. Hold on a while.
But they-
Think
but-
of what a metalhead.
But
a guy
will
that
they
was
get
me to
dancing
slow
on-
down. I'm 90
if I seen a metal stage, I'd be sold.
Yeah.
But would I get a ticket? That's the other problem
this
with
is the
electric.
Yeah, but that's your
Yeah,
issue.
Will
that's
I
why
get
I said
tickets?
ease into it.
Yeah, but like the whole idea of this is that
Slowly
you're supposed to be
introduce
attracting
these things.
non-metalheads.
Adding an
It's
extra
not as
stage
if,
to a
like, you're
festival
trying-
like that is
you're-
fucking
Yeah, you're not
massive.
trying to get us.
You're not trying to
we're not
get
the
people
audience.
who like
The
your
Irish-
bands to
the
go to the
Irish-
electric picnic.
yeah.
You're trying to get people who are at the electric picnic.
Yes.
Listen to
Yeah,
these
which
Which is
heavy
true
metal
as well.
bands,
It's
you
like
know?
you can't just like introduce a whole new.
No, you don't want to be like, oh, here's like.
I mean, in
a fucking
fairness,
full-
you can't.
We're not going to do
But
a
I
full
think
stage.
if they put a metal stage on Electric Picnic, the more I think of it, right?
You start coming.
Would you go?
What?
Would you go?
The thing is, what would we
No, he'd
look
be
at?
invited.
We'd look at the price.
Doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what is the price of electric picnic? Does
for-
anyone know?
So, for example, right?
Can't remember.
If one day's ticket is €92, okay, just follow me with this, right? A day ticket, and then the weekend ticket is like 250 for the weekend. Somewhere in there is a heavy metal stage with 4 metal bands, right?
That you can see at the siege.
Whatever, but there's a 92. So this goes back to what Joe was saying. You're relying on people that are in the festival that
Yeah.
will pay that big money to be attracted
Bollocks.
over to the metal.
But there's
bands.
people that are going to the
but-
festival. They
which-
don't
which-
care about who's playing. It
Absolutely
seems
fair
like
point.
I go to
Absolutely
Glastonbury
fair.
and you don't know who's playing when you buy
I
your
love
tickets.
you.
Like, you know,
It's
But
like you went to Bloodstock and
Same as
like
Hellfest.
fucking.
You just
I don't
go,
know,
like, you
some
know.
dance
Yeah.
band were
Fucking go.
playing. It's like you're not going to bring a dance crowd to it.
Yeah.
It's just because they happen to be playing.
You still
Maybe
can't-
some people will go.
I think. Then
suppose.
you're
No, I was going to say, like, an example is like High Long. Like, we stumbled across them. They're not
Green
metal.
Long.
High Long.
Oh,
Fucking
Highland, oh, yeah.
love High Long.
We just
for the
stumbled.
record.
Someone was just like, "Oh,
didn't know you
you
were
should
that
watch
sick,
this
bro."
band. They're playing at Hellfest. They're not really metal. You should go see them." We all stumbled across them. We were all like,
Blown away.
"They play
But
this
this-
Icelandic, like random."
I've seen them.
I feel
know
like
them.
this is a
2
massive thing.
seconds. Go on. What's your point?
My
about it?
point is, like, I stumbled across them. They're not heavy metal, but they were playing at a heavy metal festival.
Oh, yes, also, I just
understand.
wanna bring up,
That's
Twin-
actually a very
I'm
good
cute
point.
as
Yeah.
fuck.
One of
And-
my favorite bands I've seen at Hellfest was Twin Temple. They're like this.
Twemple.
Twin. What?
Twemple.
Ugh.
Twin Temple, right? There's this there's these husband and wife. They do like
It's us.
60s music, like 60s like
Crap.
kind of swing doo-wop music as they call it. But they do it and like they sing about like Satan and sex and all this stuff that fits within the metal genre. So like I went to see them at Hellfest and they were fucking amazing. Like they were playing the 60s swing music, but they're fit in perfectly to this metal festival.
Wow.
So you
That's
don't
the
all
thing.
have to be
I
metal.
feel. I really. Sorry to interrupt you
As
now
a side
because I'm
note, sorry.
fucking. I really feel like there is a level of dum attitude that's put towards like a metal scene, as in like, unless it's all metal, I cannot listen to it. It's like, just shut the fuck
Don't even have an
up.
Irish accent.
Yeah, it's like, no,
It's
as
a
in like,
gatekeepy kind of thing.
it's a gatekeepy, as in like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is not heavy, I don't like it. It's like,
That's not
I
alternative
swear,
modern
I
death
swear to God,
Who cares?
you can, like, people that go to picnic, I will talk to them and I guarantee you they'll be talking about, oh, I love this band, I love this band. It's like, there's this like thing of like, we know picnic's going to sell out. We know, we'll say picnic as a big thing, or we'll say all together now. If you put those bands there, right, and if they have their
I'm giving you
headliners,
4 bands, Evan.
4 bands that I bring to
Picnic.
to picnic.
Yeah.
Well, us anyway,
Or
100%, because I'm full with the fuck would I
Go
know.
on.
Obviously.
But 4 others.
You've got 3 others.
No, I have 4
No,
others.
you've
Okay.
got 3 others.
Others.
Come on.
I would bring Baylor, 10 Ton Slug. Give me a second here.
How come we can't say God alone? Like, is he stupid?
God alone, yeah.
God alone are praying for that.
And
There you go.
No,
you've
you're done,
4.
you're done.
You've
no,
4
I'm
there.
not including us.
And
As in, like,
Peter.
if I ever get an opportunity, I'm definitely good. Like,
So that's-
anyone's like,
that's
who
grand
took
then.
his own band? Goddamn right, I took my own band. I'm an opportunist, you fucking idiot. Like,
Who wouldn't?
So
in
now you have
fairness?
your 4 Irish bands. What are you going to do next?
kick the fucking shit out of the gaff. And people are going to just walk
Easier
in.
said than done.
Actually,
People are
at
going to walk in,
Independence-
and this is the thing. It's like when you're at a music festival, people want to see good bands. If you're booked at a festival, if you're a good band, people will And I genuinely, same with like the Siege.
No, I think
I genuinely think I have been. I'm telling you this. I've never been to a metal festival. Never in my life managed to go to like a festival that's
fun.
Like metal. But
love it.
anytime there's any kind of like knocking socking, right?
Pardon me.
No, sorry. Go on again. But knocking socking is the perfect.
10 minutes left now.
Don't fucking tell me what to do. But knocking socking is the perfect example that they had. Knocking socking was very much about the Irish scene. Wasn't about style. Wasn't about fucking anything else. It was about who is working their fucking ass off.
Be cynical. It's gone. Why?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, there's like.
Unfortunately.
See, this is the thing. The thing with knocking socking, it's not about people didn't want to go. It's they expanded it a little bit too much, and I feel like.
From what capacity?
For two, it was a 2-day thing, and then it did 3, and then.
But how many people could it hold?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, man. There could be 10 people in the room, and I'd say there's 9 in there.
Like was there
You're one after
100
us.
people
That's
at a
not too bad.
festival? Was there 200 people?
I
know the difference.
I actually, to be honest,
500 people
listen,
and 100
1,000.
I was on a lot of acid for all of every year that I've been at.
So just give us a figure and we'll divide it by 3.
Pelican.
Oh, that's 3 pigeons.
It went so
Oh,
well that
well
they
done.
had to stop doing it. Like you know,
Dude,
that's
no,
how well.
No, it did. Like I
There's a
remember
reason why
an old band. No, like I
Loads of those
get
small
it.
festivals had
But
to stop
no,
doing stuff because
no.
see porta toilets and stuff like that.
But this is the thing.
And the
though.
fencing
Oh,
said that like
man.
it was impossible to get because all these festivals had rolled over for a couple of years, so there was just no porta toilets, no fences.
But if we're talking,
Really?
Yeah, it
if
was
we're
impossible
talking
to
the thing
hire all this
that,
stuff. Like
if we're saying, like, Irish bands don't bring a crowd, it was all Irish bands. There was no big headliners. All the big headliners were Irish headliners. There was
Where's this?
knocking socking. So I'm saying, like,
Oh, yeah,
they
fair
were
enough.
all
Yeah,
big.
yeah.
It wasn't like.
but
where
you're
we
again, the
have
demographic's going to be
fucking-
people in their
But
20s,
that's-
isn't it?
that's
Like
what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
going to be old
always a
boys.
small-
Like,
it was
They were prepared to
specifically.
travel.
They were
Do it, man.
specifically aimed at. It's not like there was this one
man, those
big
people are
headliner.
going for the crack of a festival. They're not going because
But
there's a
it's
load
a
of local bands
love
to
of
love.
the
Like,
thing and love of the scene,
100%,
and it
yeah.
was like. But this is why I'm like, it's not lost. Again, this is one of those things that it's like
I think, do you know what it is with Ireland as well?
a
In
romanticism.
relation to
Yeah.
other fucking countries. You know,
We're fucking small, man.
we've this fucking grow
Corner,
of music
so.
and everything like that. That's absolutely fine. But we get no support from fucking the higher powers. They never
Depending on what
fucking-
type of music you play,
Yeah,
yes, of course.
Nobody does. And
Yeah.
you look at fucking, you could name any fucking European fucking country and they have
Yeah.
way better support.
wasn't it like
structure
Turbo
than us.
Negro or like
Turbo Negro,
the Helicopters? One of those bands from the Swedish government got a tour bus.
Yeah.
They bought them like a £500,000
But like,
nightliner.
the thing
And
with-
like H was saying that whenever bands from those areas come to play in Ireland, the local embassy will ring and be all like, "Can we help you support this Swedish gig?"
Yeah, I
or
love
Norwegian
money.
gig?"
Like, just give
Mad,
it to me,
like.
yeah.
But like the thing is, like, look at the entity in Ireland, it's RTE, right? And they promote the biggest load of crap.
Yo, shout
The
out
most
MTV.
basic shit you'll ever see. Like we have 2FM on at work all the time. It's just like Fontaine's DC, and they're
They're actually a great band.
no, they're not.
They actually are.
Because your man said, "Oh, we made it because we don't sound like diddly Irish." You know, I was like,
listen to
"Fuck
radio,
you for
right?
saying that because you want to sound English when you sing, and that's because they do." And in my opinion, and you never see a woman at their show. It's all men.
Okay, well that's.
But like,
I've never
they
been at one,
promote.
really.
I don't care.
Tell
Right?
us how you feel, man.
They play the biggest pile of shite ever. They support all the most basic shit that's guaranteed to get, listens from. The
Well,
Irish
see, they
general
have
public, we'll
they have a
say.
tune where they're going about smoking carols. So, like, that's fucking.
At the end of the day, right?
They're
Look,
like, yeah, who'd know that? Like, when he
at the end of the day, here now.
I smoked a full box.
At the end of the day, let's be honest.
Worst joints ever, right?
Carlstown was beautiful.
At the end of the day, with the scene that we have, we are a bunch of begrudgers, but could you imagine if we all of a sudden
Got
just
it
on
on.
fucking
we all
fuck that.
get along?
no dickheads are dickheads. But
What
if we
happened?
all just were like,
Something
you know what,
happened
let's
and
let's
everything
fucking
clicked on.
flood Electric Picnic with like more metal bands, more metal bands, more metal bands, more metal bands. It's like there's
Yeah,
only
but
so
then
much.
who's gonna
the
go?
road-
I had a beautiful thought.
But what's the worst that can happen? What's the fucking worst that can happen?
Imagine suddenly, right? Just imagine, because sometimes it happens. Sometimes there's a fucking
Something
quiver
goes
in the
viral or,
universe
yeah.
and something happens. But imagine this: wouldn't it be some crack that suddenly the Irish heavy metal scene took off? And we got a fucking...
Oh, everyone would turn on it.
But
Everyone would turn
the
on it. Like,
whole fucking crack of it then.
Yeah, yeah.
Clambering and the you know,
but that's the thing,
such
like
crack.
but
We'd
could
be
you imagine-
famous.
Such crack.
Could you imagine like the amount of, I don't
I'd
don't
be
think
getting interviewed again.
I don't
think people-
We'd all be sitting in some fucking BBC studio.
yeah.
Good luck with that
No,
one.
I'd be kicked out straight away. But like, I don't
Imagine
think
if it
people
just suddenly
understand.
did that, though.
I don't think people understand how much actual
So
power
funny.
they have. It's like it's all well and good to sit in a pub and just fucking bitch and moan about things, but you can actually change things. And this is the thing that I feel like people don't actually realize is that you can fucking train if you actually give a fuck. You can.
in Seattle, right?
Yeah. Oh, I remember it well. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So imagine if that happened with Ireland. That's my
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ.
There was a
All in
Nirvana.
Flanders.
There was a and suddenly. Fucking, we're like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know. Like, I think that, like, you
It'd
know,
ruin the scene then, though. Everyone would be looking for the next God
the
Alone.
whole thing about
No one's gonna
Irish
be as
music
good
is
for
that,
the
like,
God
we're
Alone.
such a small island that, like, you have to go and appeal to people outside of Ireland, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like
But
the Seattle scene and all
Ireland's
that.
the breeding
or-
ground. It's the breeding ground for you to like fucking do your chops and play your gigs and like learn what not to do and what to do.
Yeah.
And then you go outside. Like if you want to be a like yourselves, as in like let's be honest, you're not just gonna. Sorry, I fucking touched your mic. But let's be honest, you're not gonna like just be like, oh sick, we're gonna do, because there's only so much you can tour Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, when are you gonna play next? It's like I could play every fucking week and get nobody every time because I'll see him next week or I'll see him the week after or I'll see him the week after that. It's like you have to make it like a thing, so you have to spread out when you play as an Irish band, as in to make it lucrative enough that people want to make an event. Do you know what I mean? Like people want to see you.
Yeah.
People want to see your band. Whereas then you can go to, you could do 4 or 5 UK tours a year.
Yeah.
Easy.
There's enough towns over there you could go and do all these different places.
You hit new
Like,
spots.
see at the end of see to go back to what you were talking about, Richie. Like, like the issue is that like there's been loads and loads of attempts to have heavy metal festivals here, and there's not enough metalheads to make
On its own, it can't
a festival,
happen.
right? But so that leaves you with the only option is to try and appeal to the current festivals in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, how do you do that? Like, you're trying to appeal to not oil boys like me and you. It's people who are listening to, you know, fucking God Alone or fucking God is an Astronaut or whatever. You know what I mean? As in, like, you have to try and appeal to young people, not oil boys.
We took a lot of piss breaks.
Yeah, we did a few piss breaks. So that's basically it. Get some heavy metal on some of the Irish, in inverted commas, independent festivals. We would love to see that happen. I think myself as well, what you were saying, but I think also a band just needs a lucky break, the perfect storm where they release a song, people from our scene love it, and it just filters down, and next minute it's on Today FM and Dave.
There's a lot you can do.
Dave shouting out.
Shout out Dave. Dave Moore is a legend, but there's a lot you can do in a comment section. Like if people really give a shit, there's a lot you can do. There's so many little tiny things you can actually do. Again, the whole thing of being
a breakout band. I'm telling you, if we get a breakout
look,
band, we never had one.
The bands themselves. If you're someone that isn't even in a band that's looking for something to do, just fucking spam shit. Like,
what was the last breakout band? And there's a quick
breakout band.
Yeah, from
in
Ireland.
general.
No.
Depends how big is the breakout.
Not bad, but not quite heavy metal. But
I actually was taking the piss. I was
but like,
no, Ash, you're the biggest breakout band of 2022.
2022.
You know?
Breakout band.
But like, what do you mean? Like, as in
the ones that like hit the
the
stratosphere.
fact that like Prosthetic have like signed a bunch of Irish bands in the last couple of months goes to show that there is
God Alone will be the biggest breakout
genuine
band.
fucking talent and people.
I remember watching, for example, I remember watching Therapy in Cork. They just released Baby Teeth, an EP.
48 BC was it?
Fuck it, whatever. It was. we were all around 19, 20, but they played anyway, Cork Sir Henry's, and we all left going, they're going to be fucking signed. They're going to be huge. You just know. a breakup band when you come across them.
there's a band from Kilkenny called Curb Dog that are going to rip them off.
Yeah, and got there like, but
Shout out Curb Dog though, every
I
day.
have a story.
yeah,
about
we
that.
just
I detract my shout out from Curb Dog. Like,
Oh, I love Curb Dog.
Curb Dog.
I went to not go and see Curb Dog one night, like where me and my mates had tickets, and we went to Witherspoons across the road and stayed in Witherspoons
That's
drinking
probably
nights.
the biggest insult you can give to a band.
I went to Witherspoons rather than going to see you live. Yeah.
But you're like at the same time,
I
No,
wouldn't blame
no,
you.
the band were probably
no,
like,
it's
"That's
the
grand,
worst-
like,
no,
that's
it's the
fine."
worst
like.
insult of all time. We're saying. I went to
Wetherspoons.
Joe's been cut out, huh?
been cut
At the end of the day,
Did you
though,
go to Witherspoons?
at the end of the-
It was
At the
right
end of
across
the
the road
day,
from the
Joe-
Limelight, and I don't really like Curb Dog, and I
love
was going
Curb
with
Dog.
my mates, and
Oh.
they were doing like Goose Islands for £1, and stayed in there and got lammered, and it was very nice.
Listen, Joe, you're a cool bro.
I
But
think
your
I-
disrespect
I-
for Curb Dog,
But like,
you want
as
to
a
throw
man from
down,
Kilkenny,
buddy.
Joe, I think the answer were the last breakup band. Were they from Ireland?
Probably not. Like, did they?
Give us
Is there a
some
breakout?
examples.
Is there a breakout metal band from Ireland?
I'm extending it down to fucking rock now when I'm
Breakout.
using the end. When I'm including
Fontaines
You
DC.
too.
Yeah, well, sure. Like,
Are they outside?
there's a
of
whole
Ireland?
bunch of
Yeah, well,
bands, like you know,
Gilliband-
fucking Two-Door
Gilliband
Cinema
at
Club
one
and all
stage
that
were-
sort of stuff.
But they're
Like,
not rock.
Well,
Yeah,
you could
they're
argue the
not
Clockworks are a bit of a
Oh yeah,
breakup
Coldplay,
band,
yeah.
fucking
but
best band ever.
the Clockworks are more punk, and they're
Who the
more.
fuck are
They're
the
not well
Clockwork?
known.
well, like,
either.
Fontaines
Okay.
DC are definitely the
Okay.
most popular
Well,
band that there's been
Well,
in the
they have
last 10 years.
500,000 monthly listeners.
They're playing
on Spotify.
big
You can't have a lot of
stages and all
listeners,
that.
Yeah,
you
you
know.
can
Playlist.
be. You're,
That's
but
true,
you
man,
probably
yeah.
broke outside of Ireland before
But like,
Ireland.
Exactly.
all those bands we
Exactly.
mentioned have literally sold shit loads of fucking
Records.
or just records. It's not, I don't know what it is.
Prove it.
Digital downloads, bloody blah. But like,
Did you do
none
those?
of the Irish metal bands have come near that, and we just need one of them to fucking break through.
God alone.
Yeah. And
God
that's
Alone
what- that's
are
more or less
like a
the best.
candidate. I'd also argue 10 Ton Slug as well.
I
But
feel
they're
like 10
already
Ten
well
Slug.
known outside of Ireland. They're already
Which they are.
well known.
Hashmaker.
That's why it's in.
Hashmaker went viral for the
The
thing with
lobster
the
video,
lobster thing. Not the
class.
best band.
But they went
Let's be
viral.
honest, net-
Yeah,
like,
but
yeah.
it's
Yeah, but
something-
it's not
Yeah,
viral
but
in the sense
I
of
feel
like.
from what I
Like
remember,
if I look them up, I guarantee they'll have 5,000 views or listeners a month or less.
who
So-
Hashmaker?
Yeah.
No, they won't.
But as in
Shout
they'll
out to
have
Jim
much-
with
they'll have much more
relapse
than
and
that.
everything. No, as in like they had this horrible thing where it was like, and I'm sure Jim Spillane, if you're watching, I remember him telling me something about like there was that video that went up and it went like viral, and I believe like
Had over a
was
million
it someone
views.
from like Bring Me the Horizon like got to that level, shared it and was like, oh, this band needs to support us, and like from what I remember, what I heard was like Jim was like, oh, that was us, and it was like.
That's the end of it.
That was the end of it. Like, yeah. As in, like that thing, like it's like a TikTok thing.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I understand
And
what
fair
you mean. Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
play
yeah,
to them.
yeah.
Like, as in your man.
But like then suddenly it's gone.
Yeah, well, like I mean,
Interesting, isn't it?
that's the thing. Is it like
That's
some
scary.
some
That
guy-
is
No, things
scary.
But that's the thing. Is in like I think the lads tried to re-upload it or asked. Now, Jim, if you're watching, please in the down below, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and all
Hit the
that.
bell for
Don't
notifications.
comments, share, and stripe. Oh god, but.
Boomer.
I believe that was the thing that like they like it went fucking like millions of views. It's like 3 or 4 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I got into
ridiculous.
millions, yeah.
That one thing, but
They
like
got
this,
over a million.
Fuck.
this
That's
is the
right.
thing with
Yeah.
TikTok. It's like
ridiculous.
it's aiding to the
You're not
the mentality
you don't have
of
a million
having
fans
a
out of it,
15,
do
a
you?
15,
But you have them.
15
You have them
second-
for 15 seconds.
15
Those movies for
seconds,
15 seconds.
not even like like 10 seconds is like whatever you do it, but because there was no branding on
mean
the
back
band
all
whatsoever.
the-
And look at
MT
see someone like
USA.
Lordy, like they were able to capitalize on their
Eurovision,
15
like,
minutes
Yeah, Eurovision.
And
yeah,
enough
yeah.
to have a career, like you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Because
I
they were
would-
just
I
like
wouldn't
their
have saw
image was
them
so
before,
strong
wouldn't
that
have
they
saw
were
them
like
after,
boom.
but I know
look
who
at
they
it.
are. Yeah.
But it's just so fast these days in relation to just like you're there, as you said, fucking the lads there.
That's the thing. Like if
You know,
if
Hashmaker
Hashmaker,
suddenly-
if it said like at Hashmaker on it, I feel like they would have.
The people like none of us gave a shit, but we found the back trail and just kind of read it and went, oh well, cool, you know. But ultimately, we know the lads and we know what they're capable of.
See the way you know
Like,
in Ireland there's like like subsidiaries for EMI and Universal and labels
Yeah.
like that. none of those labels would be allowed to sign rock bands. Full stop. Like
No.
Like the reason why like someone like Declan O'Rourke or Monday or whatever can do really well on
Declan
Universal
O'Rourke is great,
Ireland. He is good. But
Monday-
like they're still appealing to fucking whatever the base is. Like a gold record in Ireland is 10,000 copies.
Yeah, that's the thing. And
So like
that's-
you need to look at everything to
there's
do with the
bands-
music industry in those, like in other countries a gold record's 500,000 copies, but now
But there's
Yeah.
bands now that like
10,000.
friends of mine like would say bands like Rowan or Naked Animals that can get in the top 50. When you get in the top 50, it's a whole different ball game. But the level of shit that you need to sell to get there, it's really not.
It's
fucking
not as much as you think.
unachievable. It's
It's
not
not as much
unachievable.
as you think.
We're talking like
Yeah.
50 might be 300-400 maybe.
but it's all about
less.
streaming as well. Like you know, like whatever
Yeah,
your
like
streaming
streaming
numbers
comes
that
in,
you
but
can
if you
get
bu- if
in
you
that
buy
week or
something off,
two.
if
boom.
you buy something off, it's like that thing of like the biggest way you can support, like an independent band would probably be like to buy a physical thing on Bandcamp or whatever means they decide to promote it. But if you buy something for €1 on iTunes, like then you're in the chart thing. And it was like, and like a lot of friends of mine, like Rowan,
but
they're
streams
not
on,
metal
on
at all,
like
but
Spotify
they're
count
a
as
fucking fantastic band. Fantastic.
Cheers,
They are the fun. They are the one hard mind.
What?
yes, yes.
He's speaking in tongues.
Oh my goodness.
But there you go. Like I don't know what can you say about everything that we've talked about tonight? Like
Oh,
we're an island, like you know,
Look,
and that's the
lads,
thing. Is, like, you
I-
have to fucking accept that
Whoa.
we're a small island. Like,
Whoa,
you know?
no, we're actually not an island. We're actually not. There's literally
a
no
conspiracy.
land blob
There's- that's a
is the like
conspiracy.
word I like
There's
to
literally
use.
no
Like, you know?
proof of us ever being near water whatsoever.
At all.
Sick that you
Fucking sick, man.
Boys rubbing each other. Yeah,
yet.
we definitely covered a lot of topics tonight. We're all on the lash
None
because
of
it's
your
the
business.
first time we've been all together in one room. And what would you expect of us? To be fair now,
A bit
Can we
more
just say how
decorum,
pretty
I'd
coloured
say.
my drink is?
yeah,
It's fancy.
Thanks for having me.
It
by
looks.
the way.
Oh, you can of course.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
sip
yeah.
in
A
there.
bit more.
There's
I would
BH
expect. I would
vitamins in it.
expect a bit more decorum.
BH vitamins in this. Get my
So-
health in.
Oh, it tastes red.
Once again, I'll highlight
Pop.
as well the 27th of August
So-
for Extreme Metal Night. That's in St. Peter's, North Main Street. So you've got Horrenda, you've got
Draconis.
Draconius, Ever Deadwood, and Pyrocene. Have you ever seen them? Yeah.
Pyrocene are. See, I don't want to promote it too much because they're after. Pyrocene are badass motherfuckers.
Okay.
Badass motherfuckers. My only issue is,
BAM.
and I think I said this online at some stage. That was
Mine
like
on my space.
on my. I was there on Bebo earlier, but it's in a church.
Yeah.
So
I think Horrenda.
What way-
You might
Yeah,
burst
yeah.
into flames
As
if
as
you
in
go
like
into
a
it.
lot,
Like,
a lot of the stuff is
Depending
like
on how into what
black
in you
metal.
are.
A lot of the stuff is like black metal, and like playing. I played in
Would you
that
want
exact
red
church.
sauce in the wee thing that you dip
No,
your
no,
hand
as in
in on
I-
the way in?
I-
So check out
I played in a
Extreme Metal
software
Night
thing.
and
Don't you
Dead
dare.
Cult.
Yeah,
The
this
show
one
is
was
on the 26th of August.
Yeah,
that
if you don't
is
buy a
with
ticket,
Archives,
fucking loser.
our friends Eponymous, Dazgak, and Aborted Earth as well. So
Definitely
that
the
is
better looking gig of all.
the better look.
As in, like,
is on
members
the
wise.
26th, which is the Friday. Okay, thanks everybody for listening. This is Rich from the Metal Cell Podcast.
This is
Salute.
Evan. Actually, no.
Salute.
Fuck you for listening. This is
Thanks
Evan
for
from the
having-
Metal
thanks
Cell
for having me.
Podcast, and I want you just to grow the fuck up
Do whatever you
for
want.
once in your life. Poop your bed twice as
Send
much.
Richie a coffee, please.
The big comes off.
Hey,
Richie,
coffee.
we're going to start a Patreon.
We're going to start a Metal Cell Outcasts.
Metal Cell Podcast.
For the people who've been
But
banned.
at the main time,
The
I'm
outlaws
sick of
like
him
myself.
being really nice to me, not listening to you anymore. Stop pooping the bed. Stop doing it.
I will not.
Okay.
Oh,
Support show to Vaccine. Thanks again to Pete, Danielle,
Thank you so much for
Evan,
having
and
me.
Joe for coming on the show. A very, very special occasion.